Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 8 biggest unsolved mysteries of India. Every country around the world has some very unsolved mysteries. But out of all of those countries, India may have the most. From things that make no scientific sense to very eerie and scary mysteries. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming up first, we have the floating pillar. Very near to the city of Bangalore, India, there's a place called Lapakshi. And in Lapakshi is Virabhadra Temple. This temple is very beautiful and many Indians and people who come from other countries love to visit it. But there's one really amazing thing about this temple, and it's one of its pillars. The most famous pillar of this temple is called Akasa Stampa. This means floating pillar, and that's because this pillar is suspended in mid-air. You can pass a cloth or other object underneath the pillar. But nobody knows exactly how this pillar appears to float in mid-air. When the British were in power of India, they were fascinated by this pillar. Nobody understood how it seemed to be suspended in the air. Today it's a very popular tourist attraction and people love to put their hands under the pillar to show it's floating. Scientifically, this shouldn't even be possible. Due to the weight of the pillar, unless it was actually touching the ground, it should pull the temple down. But for some reason, this does not reach the ground. It's not bad architecture, as every other part of this temple is perfect. And you can see by the stonework that the ground never touched it. It's not like the ground just pulled down or rotted away. So how exactly is this pillar of this temple floating in mid-air? This is an Indian mystery which may never be solved. Next up is Prahlad Jani. What was the last meal you consumed? Chances are you can remember it pretty easily. But this is not the case for a man named Prahlad Jani in India. He said the last bit of food he ever ate was near the early years of WW2. And he says it was such a long time ago he can't even remember exactly what it was. But despite not eating or drinking for 70 years, this guy is 82 years old and healthy. And he's not lying either. This guy's been watched and he hasn't eaten or drank anything for years. For normal people, if they didn't drink or eat within a week, they would have passed on. But Mr. Jani is completely different and he says he's never felt better. You may think that due to his lack of food and water, he's got no energy. But he actually walks around 20 miles a day in the jungles. He says he never sweats and doesn't feel tired or sleepy. He says he can also meditate for a very, very long time. He says he sometimes spends his days meditating for 3, 8 or 12 hours. And the longest he's gone while just meditating has been 2 months. In that time, he didn't eat or drink. Some say the guy's just crazy and is full of nonsense. But this man says his Hinduism and holiness allows him to do this. He spent 15 days at the state hospital in Gujarat. In that time, he was monitored around the clock and nobody saw him consume any food or water whatsoever. No human should be able to survive this, but Mr. Jani does, and with no ill effects. Doctors ran many tests on him and they found he doesn't need food to be healthy. Instead, he says he gets energy from the sunlight, much like a plant does with photosynthesis. But how do you think this guy survives without eating or drinking anything in 70 years? Do you think he's playing some kind of trick on everyone and really is drinking and eating? And if so, how is this possible, seeing as he's been monitored around the clock by so many people? Next up is Yetis. I'm sure we've all heard the urban legend of Yetis. It's basically India's version of the USA's Bigfoot legends. Well, every year India gets many reports of people seeing the abominable snowman, aka the Yeti. These Yetis are often sighted in the Himalayas in India. The Himalayas are a giant snowy mountain range. And because Yetis often have white fur, this means they can blend in and camouflage. Yetis are described kind of like prehistoric bears. And many skeptics say those who think they see Yetis are actually just seeing bears. However, many natives to the Himalayas and those who live there say they see Yetis quite frequently. One witness said it was around 6 feet tall and weighed around 400 pounds. Their hair is light grey and very shaggy, and the area around their face is hairless. There are even very famous legends of Yetis taking humans off and them never being seen again. For example, one Sherpa girl was apparently once taken by a Yeti and her family never saw her again. But do you think these people claiming to see Yetis are just seeing bears, or are they just making it all up? Next up, we have the Jodhpur Boom. The Jodhpur Boom was a deafening sound which was heard in the skies of Jodhpur, India. On December 18th, 2012, at 11:25 AM, people were going about their day. The citizens of Jodhpur were getting ready for the day and going to work. That was when all of a sudden in the sky was a deafening sound. It sounded like some kind of supersonic boom and was very loud, and everyone in Jodhpur heard it. Some thought it was some kind of ginormous explosion or a meteor hitting Earth. but no damage was seen anywhere near the area. Some connected it to the Mayan calendar, which predicted the Earth would be destroyed in 2012. But of course, seeing as I'm recording this in 2019, that didn't happen. At first, some people said maybe it was an Air Force test in the region, but the Indian defense spokesperson said this was nothing to do with the Air Force. So what was this supersonic boom which caused windows to shatter and everyone to be deafened? Well, still no one knows, and it remains a big Indian mystery to this day. Geologists in the USA and UK reported seismic readings which they'd never seen before. Some say this must have a connection to the Jodhpur Boom, but no one's sure. Really, it's just an incredibly loud noise heard in the sky, but nothing's been known about it since. Some say it could have been aliens trying to make contact with humans, but they failed. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think went on in Jodhpur that morning. Next up is the Lunar Crater Lake. The Lunar Crater Lake is in Maharashtra, one of the largest areas in India. It's a very beautiful green lake, but there's one big mystery surrounding it. That is how it remains full 24/7. All throughout the year this lake remains full, but no one ever fills it up. A sculpture in one of the temples near this lake tells the story of a demon. This demon, named Lavansa, apparently wants to cause trouble to Mother Earth. And some say this lake could have been cursed by Lavansa the demon. The lunar crater was created by a meteor thousands of years ago. Some said the meteor has some kind of effect which makes this lake never dry out all through the year. It's also the only known hypervelocity impact crater ballistic rock anywhere on Earth. So if you live anywhere near the Lunar Crater Lake, I suggest paying it a visit, as it's amazing. Next up is Ghost Soldier. Every country has their fair share of ghost stories. And India is no exception, with the story of the ghost of Baba Harbhajan Singh. Harbhajan Singh was an Indian soldier who passed away in 1962. This was during the China-India battles. He actually passed away on a glacier, but the legend of his ghost goes like this. He apparently led the search party to his body in the water. Then, through a dream, he instructed one of his colleagues to build and maintain a shrine after him. The shrine was built in the Samadhi Hills. And ever since then, his ghost has apparently been seen around this shrine at night. His boots are left by this shrine and are cleaned every night. But every morning they're crumpled and muddy. People say this ghost soldier continues to patrol the areas. And legend also has it that in the event of another battle between India and China, Baba would warn the Indian and Chinese soldiers days in advance. And finally on the list of India's biggest unsolved mysteries, we have UFO Base. Have you ever heard of the Konkala Pass? The Konkala Pass is one of the least accessible areas in the entire world. It's located on the Himalayan mountains between the border of India and China. Well, because it's such a no man's land, many say that's why UFOs have chosen to make it their underground base. Reportedly, the Konkala Pass holds a massive underground construct of UFOs. An online search can see many UFO sightings around these areas. The reason why is because this part of the world's crust is twice as thick as other places. And some say the UFO bases are deep underground into the world's tectonic plates. In 2004, a UFO sighting was investigated by a team of geologists. They were able to capture on film a robot-like figure standing around a mountain edge and then disappearing upwards. It's been confirmed this footage hasn't been faked, but no one's sure exactly what it is. Maybe it's simply army testing. That's because many say China and India use these remote areas for testing out their military operations. But who knows, maybe it really was a UFO located in this area. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you can vote for the biggest Indian mystery on this list. I think it's the floating pillar, as I have no idea how that works. If you guys want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that coming up on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.